Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, Pencils and Proverbs. My name is Karina, and today I want to share with you a little bit about our foreign language in our curriculum. So I initially thought to lump this in together with the remainder of the curriculum, but I know this is somewhat a controversial topic, and I also know that when I first started doing this, I was clueless. I mean, to be perfectly clear, I'm still a bit clueless. But I've seen the importance. I've seen the reward, a little bit of the reward so far. And so it's with that in mind that I'm going to share that I wanted to split this video out specifically for you if you're thinking about introducing Latin to your homeschooler. So initially, we were a part of a group called Classical Conversations, and we went there until my daughter's like, nope, I'm done. I can't do this anymore. And so that was one of the curriculums that we tried. And so the one thing that we did take from that was we took a few things, but one of the things that we still use today is Latin. And while we were going through that, I introduced my daughter to Latin way back when. And so we started going through, I think the first one was Prima Latina, and it's from Memoria Press. I will drop the link below where you can go look them up. And so what I noticed is as we were going through the program, we went through Prima Latina, then we went to Prima Christiana, which was like 2 years. And as we were going through these programs and learning about different Roman strategy, different Roman history, I introduced books like this to my kids. And so these are just really stories about some of the greatest of the greats. And so with me coming to the United States, learning the history of this country and understanding how we're connected and how we are similar yet different from the Romans has been very impactful in me understand the culture of this society and where we're going and how that plays into the timeline with Christ. It just all connects the dots for me. And so I hope to share that with my kiddos and hope that some days it will all mesh and meld together and make sense. So far, it's been making sense. So last year, we did Prima Christiana, which was like the second book in the series. And we used this book. There is a student book and then there's a teacher book. I did not go in in-depth detail just because my whole purpose of doing Latin with my kiddos is not for them to speak it, but for them to use it in day-to-day activities and into their day-to-day life as they go up through society and as they go through school to realize where certain customs and cultures comes from, why we still use them, and how they link back to history. And so, in my opinion, and this is just purely me, I understand if you totally disagree. In my opinion, if you could link history and understand a lot of what happened in history, then you could definitely understand or get a better understanding of what you're doing going forward. Hence the reason why I love the Old Testament, because it gives me an insight into the New Testament. So with that in mind, last couple of years, we've done quite a bit of those things. It's not in a hurry. This year at 5th grade, we are doing first form Latin. So this is a student text. There is a student handbook. There is a teacher's manual. There is a teacher's key, and then there's a quiz and test. Do I expect my daughter to get through all of this in 5th grade? No. I'm totally okay with her taking a 2 years to do this because I'm interested in the foundation. And not only that, once she learns Latin, I've told her, and she's asked, and so I've told her, once she's learned Latin, it's a gateway, not a gateway, it's like a segue into learning the Romance languages, so Portuguese, French, Spanish, Italian. It's a gateway for her to learn those languages easier, much easier, because she already have the foundation. So I wanted to introduce that to her. This is my choice with my husband. We've seen the importance of it. Like we've been to Caesar's Palace in Las Vegas, I think it's Vegas, and just gone all over the place. And we've seen like the different gods, and she could put into context why this God it was important back in the day and where we see it in today's society and things like that. So, like I said, these are just things that I like. Now, another thing that I'm introducing this year into our homeschool languages is Greek. And you were like, Karina, that's an overkill. I get it. The idea is not perfection. The idea is exposure. And then certain kids get certain things and run with it. And some kids don't. I don't know unless I introduce it to my child. And so this year, one of the things, like I was talking earlier about Caesar's Palace, this is one of those books that we learned about the different gods and different things. And like Pandora box. Ugh. I had no idea when somebody said, don't open up Pandora's box when I came to this country. It took me forever to figure out what that was. But now when somebody says, don't open up Pandora's box, I'm like, okay, run the other direction, because it totally makes sense. I understood that after I read this book. Okay. Diana, Hades, Hermes, Artemis. There is Ready Player One is a movie that came out a while back, and my husband loves it, and he was explaining different things to me, but one of the players' name is Artemis. And I would have had no idea what those movies are referring to had I not read this. So even though it's not something that is like you need to know what 1 + 1 equals, I still feel like it's essential in our society, because our movie producers are everybody is still using it. It's just not an obvious thing like you need to learn this. And I feel like it's a part of what I want my kids to learn and do and not do. Now, along with that book, which has a bunch of stories, comes the student guide as well as a teacher's manual. And like I said, am I going to go through all of this with, like, she has to have precision, like with her times tables, and she has to know, right now she knows all of her times tables up to 12. Great for her at 4th grade. Yay, right? I expect that. I expect her to know that because of her aptitude. Will I expect her to know all the Greek gods, Roman gods? No, but I'll expect her to have had some kind of exposure, where it came from, why it was around, why certain people think the way they think, and how that connects to what we believe and what we think of today in today's society. So I'm not done yet. As a read aloud, I am also planning to do the Trojan War. And this is also into Latin studies. And this is just because it gives us a broader perspective. And it introduces conversation. It's a conversation starter like at the breakfast table, at the dinner table. She talks to her dad about it, things like that. So I feel like it's important, and it helps to develop the brain in a whole different way. Just like math that you have to consistently do, you have to do Latin consistently so you understand it and you learn it and it builds. And if you mess up, you have to go back and get those pockets filled. But once you get it, you get it. And I love the structure of that. So I wanted to just do a separate video for you guys, try to explain. I don't know if I did a great job explaining why I'm doing what I'm doing, but I hope it helps you. And if you're looking at introducing a foreign language to your kiddos, I don't know if Latin or Greek is it. It might be Spanish, it might be French, it might be some other language that you want to do or you want to go after. One of my brothers did Japanese, another one did Chinese. So we're all different. Just pick what works for you, what works for your school, what works for your kiddos. This is what works for us. And I'm also learning alongside, because I'm not like versed in this stuff. I'm learning alongside my kiddos, and learning it from this perspective actually helps me understand the Bible in a whole nother level. So one day I hope to do Hebrew. but I'm not there yet. I got to do the foundations, and so I can get there. So thank you guys so much for watching. I hope this video is helpful for you. Be sure to like this video, give it a thumbs up, and press the bell button so you can know when I have new videos that are coming out that may be helpful to you as you continue to forge your way into doing what God has called you to do in homeschooling these kiddos. So thank you guys so much for being here, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.